Did you know that May is the official Celiac Disease Awareness Month? Well, if you didn't know, now you know. Celiac disease is an immune reaction to eating gluten, and what better guest to have on the pod to share about his life-changing journey than Gathogo King'ori, aka George. This has to be one of my favorite episodes yet. Not only because the topics we cover hit close home, but also because Gathogo is as smart as they come and also has a fascinating story to boot and a great probiotic yogurt product that we all love. Umewahi kunywa Bogani? Bogani yogurt. Well, this is the guy behind the yummy healthy yogurt. I hope you enjoy the convo as much as I did. Let's go. The thing about doing this podcast is having important conversations that remind us that as much as we are out here achieving things and doing big things, we are really just human beings. Unajua, we are on a journey, and the journey comes with a lot of things. So this is my invitation to you to, as always, like I always say, journey with us, go wherever the conversation takes us. Asanteni sana. You know, the thing about this particular guest, and I say this looking at you, is there are so many different places I could start because yours is a fascinating story. And it's not like you're 70 years old. Unajua, you are blessed, I could say young man, yeah? But then you have so much experience in so many different lines that the more someone reads about you, uko, this guy needs to put out more books because we need more. We are literally hungry for more of your life experience, yeah? So let me start in a very different industry. I'll start with radio. So I'm lucky or I'm blessed enough to be a radio presenter. And there are 2 or 3 people that over the career I have wanted to become like, I have admired, I've looked at. I'll speak of 2 in a special way. Number 1 has to be Edward Quach. So rest in peace, Edward Quach, for sure. And number 2 has to be Big Boy. Big Boy is an American radio and media personality. Very popular. I love the guy. I listen to him to date, yeah? Now I'm focusing on Big Boy because he got that name because he used to be a really big guy, like physically. He's quite tall already, but he also had weight. So he gives all these stories about every time they were doing a gangster hood movie, he'd be called to be like the fat guy in the movie, you know? Fast forward to this many years later, you cannot imagine Big Boy being a big guy, yeah? And in his journey, I'm sure there are people who bumped into him after he lost weight, and they were like, yo, what's going on? And I started there because I know this is part of your story. It is part of your story in an interesting way. There are people who can only remember you in a certain size. So I'm curious what that story is, how you ended up being as lean as you are, and what choices you've made to becoming who you are. We'll open the conversation in so many different ways. I can't wait for this convo. But let's start with the basic. What do you tell people when the last time they saw you, you were 5 times bigger than you are now? How is that conversation? What have you learned? How have you learned about approaching that conversation?
It's always different. It's, you get to learn, like, people are a lot, like, body conscious, and you just pick up on, the story changes every time. It could be, because mine is, most of my weight, I've lost it from avoiding wheat, which I have celiac disease, and celiac is, the gluten allergy and all that. So the being celiac, like I've lost a lot of weight. But then the journey started off about 10 years ago. When,
Okay.
Not 10, I would say 13 years ago. I was big, and I took a picture with like family. And then, like, after looking at the pictures, like, I stood out, I was like this big, chunky guy.
You're like 5 family members
5
together.
family members pamoja.
Yeah.
Then later on, we were sitting outside. I remember sitting around Nakumatt Village Market, like on those two chairs. I used to be there, and my pal was, I think she was like 5 months pregnant. No, she was 6 months pregnant, and my stomach and her, they are like same size.
Yeah, same WhatsApp group. Yeah.
And she's like, unajua in a few months yangu itaenda chini lakini yako itabaki hivyo hivyo. And I was like, hey, I need to do something, man. And so got on like that thing for like working out, like doing some hits, walking. Even though I wasn't losing as much, but it set me up on now
That path.
that path of
Okay.
like watching what I'm eating and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you at that time aware of your allergies? Were you aware? Okay. So how do you end up knowing about celiac to be particular?
Celiac took so I've always, all my life, I've always had stomach problems. I always had, whenever I ate something, I always thought it was food poisoning. I always thought it was ulcers, all these things, but never really knew it was celiac up until 5 years ago.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it started off with, like, it was like I used to have this dawa I used to take that you would sort me up. Like whenever I had stomach problems, I'd take it and the pain would go away.
Yeah.
But then, as time went on, as years went on, like the I call them attacks. Like the pain attacks started getting worse and worse. Like, and then it was like, I think it was on like Reddit. I read somewhere it said like do a food diary.
Do a food diary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, so every time you eat your food every day, like just note it down. And if you get these attacks, know like amongst the foods like you ate, like what could be the challenge. And that's how I stopped eating meat.
Interesting. So did you notice a pattern?
Yeah.
What is in the pattern? What are you studying?
Yeah. So I noticed like the time I was having chapati and beef, I was like, beef was the problem.
Okay.
So I cut out beef. Next time it was chapati and kuku.
Yeah.
Cut out kuku. Like, I never ever suspected it was wheat. And
Yeah.
I had this amazing relationship with wheat.
With wheat.
That
Look at that.
never suspected.
And
was
it
wheat.
keeps showing up. It feels like a bad relationship.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm like, Mbona, why are my relationships not working? What is wrong with these women? Kumbe, I'm the consistent one. Aki poleni, see, I'm improving. I'm a better man now. But in this case, it feels like the wheat is the toxic boyfriend. It feels like this is the case. Okay, so at what point do you go, it's me, or in this case, it's the wheat?
Never. Like, it's as in this keeps going on like to a point where I started getting admitted in hospital, and because of like the pains too much, I would get low blood pressure, I'd get low heart rate. So whenever I go to hospitals for like, and then they put those like they're checking your pressure and everything, they'd be like, hey, no, we have to admit you, and you're there overnight, and then like lunchtime, you're a special guy, they give you chapos. So
They do the thing.
they do the thing, eh?
Yeah.
They bring chapos, and you're like, thanks, that's a solid
You're
guy.
doing me a solid, yeah.
Thank you. and they would come back, and my situation has worsened, So I started doing the different tests. I did the scans. I did ultrasound to check if my organs are okay, the sizes are okay. I even did. So later on, I came to do an endoscopy, where they put the camera
down your throat.
and a colonoscopy where they
from the other end.
Yeah, from the other end. And when they did the colonoscopy, my intestines, they were bleeding. They were red, like it was like, yeah, bleeding intestines. And I remember like that moment, like it was a scary thing because the night before I went for the colonoscopy, I was on YouTube, like checking out like what colonoscopies are all about, and everything. And your inside looks like the inside of your mouth.
Okay.
So that's a picture I was expecting. So when they when I saw it was like all red and everything, I was worried. I know I'm like in tears, and I'm like,
Yeah, you're like, me, I'm jumping out of this game,
yeah.
kumbe. I'm too young.
This guy tells me, I'm like asking him, so what's wrong? You're the doctor. The guy's like, I don't know. We have to do a biopsy. I'm like, last time I heard the word biopsy, it was before my mom got diagnosed with cancer. So I was like, biopsy?
Here
like
we go.
I'm already like, damn. Like now at least, now no, at least now this thing has been disturbing me for a long time. I'm like, but then now biopsy takes 2 weeks before you get the results. Longest 2 weeks of my life.
I bet, man.
Yeah.
What are you doing in these 2 weeks as you wait for the results?
Contemplating life, like as in wondering, like, what are you gonna do when the results come?
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna, am I gonna tell anybody? Am I just gonna let it just hula me as in,
Yeah.
that's it? No, it was just one of those things. And then like, 2 weeks later, go for the results. The doctor is like, the results came back and it's negative.
So it's
Like-
negative cancer.
Like
Nothing
nothing.
cancerous.
Like the results showed nothing. Like nothing is wrong with me.
So clean bill.
Yeah, but then
Okay.
the bleeding is still there, the pain is still there. So they're like, but then another thing happened. This guy was like, oh, but before you go, he took out one of those pads and he's writing like the medicines I need to take and all that. And he's like, I need you to go and take these dawas. And I'm like asking him like, why the dawas and there's nothing wrong with me. But you see, I'm like, no. Why are you giving me medicine? And
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. And he's like, no, but, and that was like, that moment was like one of the moments I was like, I stopped taking medicine. I was like, this guy was just like, because I really needed to find out like what was wrong with me. So the pains continued. And then,
Meaning the chapatis continued.
of course, pancakes, chapos, cakes. Think about it, I loved it.
Yeah.
So it was up to like later on, like I was in hospital again, and I'm on Google and I'm like typing like, I have this, all the symptoms I get and everything, and found myself on Reddit again.
On Reddit.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Reddit again tell me like all the tests, like somebody similar case, like wrote down like every test like they did to find out like what was wrong with them. And I was like, I look at the list, it was like, I think 8 tests. I'd done most of them. The only thing I'd not done was an allergy test. And then, so I remember telling my doctor, like, I need to do an allergy test. My doctor was like, I've been a doctor for like, see how many years.
Yeah, it
It's
can't
not,
be that.
These are not allergy signs.
Yeah.
Dismissed it and completely. I was like, hey, it's me, it's my body.
I insist.
I insist and I need to know this. And yeah, the guy was like, he wrote down he recommended me to a specialist who does allergy tests. And I went and did the allergy test. I actually did the allergy test at the time for COVID, because I even ended up buying a PPE kit for the one who were coming to do the allergies thing. So for the allergies, they normally put they normally give you like a list the foods you're currently eating, so you just my foods were like pretty limited.
Yeah.
But wheat was there.
Yeah.
and all
Chapo.
that, So they usually put like food samples like on your forearm,
Okay.
and then they use like a syringe, like a needle, like to just irritate the skin a bit for the food to go into your to go into your bloodstream or something. And even before, like they did that where the wheat was. Like my whole nini had rushed up, it was all red and everything. And the doki was like, sweet.
Ting, 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 ting.
I didn't even doubt it.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew it, man.
Man.
Yeah, so that morning I had pancakes.
Yeah.
So I went back home, could have those pancakes for the last time. I was like, no, at least
It's
I
been
know.
a good one. Yeah.
No, I know, at least I know what's the problem is. So I had my last pancakes.
Yeah.
And like 3 days after that, it was the first time in like 15 years, like I didn't have any pain. Like it was the first time in my life,
Yeah.
like I would wake up, walk, like no pain, nothing
Yeah.
at all. Yeah.
And it made sense. It was this one decision.
It was this one decision.
No more wheat.
No more work.
Oh man. Oh
Yeah.
man. This story is very familiar to mine. Thankfully, not as extreme, but so I do the Busy Being Born podcast. Shout out the Busy Being Born podcast. And the thing about the platform is every time we meet the other host and the producer, for the last 1 year, maybe not this past year, but the other one, they used to call me Ngano Man. Like literally, nikiingia wako, Ngano Man. Because they know I'll go for the biscuits, I'll go for the mandazis, I'll go for all these different wheat products. And the beginning of this year, even the ilianza, I noticed a lot of pain. I noticed a lot of, hey, maze, my tummy used to ache, tossing and turning. Only for us to now, down the line, go, okay, maybe it's the wheat. But then again, the moment you think of wheat and our diet as a people, you'll notice that wheat is everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It's in the cakes, it's in spaghetti, it's in everything,
Even more. Even
Yeah,
like
it's in more than that.
soy sauce.
Yeah.
It's in ibuprofen.
And lest you forget, remember this episode of the Casually Human podcast with Martin Kigondu is brought to you by Sugarball. Sugarball is a casual, full-service dining restaurant featuring an inviting indoor and outdoor space with a fresh, unpretentious ambience with warm colors. Perfect for intimate dinners, business meetings, and social gatherings. Their menu is strongly based off a continental cuisine enhanced with Mediterranean and Italian influences. So go, visit, dine, take your girlfriend, your boyfriend, take your book readings, your solo dates, your meetings, birthdays, and so on to the Sugarball restaurant already. They are conveniently located at the Shell petrol station in Spring Valley, napo ni hapa tu Lower Kabete. Again, go check them out. Have a good time and tell them Sugarball came highly recommended by Martin Kigondu from the Casually Human podcast.
Yeah.
It's in most of the medicines you buy from the pharmacy. Like they use a starch in there. Wheat is an amazing, what do you say? Like it brings together like ingredients. Like
Okay.
it's a stabilized, like starch. So
Yeah.
it forms. So it's used in medicine. Used in like soy sauce.
Everything.
Like things you can't even suspect.
I told someone, I'm off wheat, I'm doing granola, ananiangaleza. There might be wheat in there, Nico. What do you mean?
Yeah, the jumbo oat, and there's a jumbo oat and there's a small the instant oat.
Yeah.
The instant oat is closely related to wheat.
It's not too far.
So now I am my best detective. So the moment I have it, pain immediately,
Yeah.
inflammation,
Yeah.
all these things happen. So,
Hey, bro.
so the small oats, same thing was the soy sauce. It was just the same like that.
Yeah. Let me ask, do you feel this is one of the biggest lies that capitalism has brought into, our diets? And if so, what other lies do you see, especially now that you're in that space where you study and you have studied the foods that we eat and nutrition? What other lies do you feel capitalism is selling on us? Because we've been taught a good breakfast is these cereals in the morning, these things that you're eating. a good, at lunch, this is what you eat. So tell me a bit on what you think about that.
The food pyramid is a scam.
The food pyramid is a scam.
Is a scam.
Okay.
Like like had the carbs, had the, like the protein, the fruits, all those things. And I, like, majority of your food, like, it should be, like, the majority should be fibers, plants. All those things should be majority of it, followed by proteins and fats. And then carbs should be like the list. The reason being is, like, fibers are like, it acts as a, it's amazing for digestion. It's food for your gut microbiome. It's like, and then also sets like when you eat fibers fast, like it forms like a gooey mesh around like your whole gut.
Yeah.
So that even when you have carbs later and like sugars and everything, they're not absorbed into your bloodstream. So the same can be applied to somebody who's diabetic and all that. Even if you're trying to watch your weight, like, because when you have your fibers fast, you also get filled a lot faster than when you start with your starch and everything. Like when you start with your starch, hey boss, utabomoa hiyo ugali man.
Unararua kurarua.
Yeah, unararua ugali, chapos and all that. But when you start with your veggies, then you have your protein, your fats, your healthy fats, of course, like monounsaturated, like macadamia oil, avocado season, man. Go crazy on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how would a perfect plate look for you? Yeah. In this case, when you're preparing a meal, namaanisha utaguza ngano, but when you're preparing a meal, perhaps for, I don't know, a loved one, how would their plate look like?
So the plate would be a salad.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be even just broccoli, any veggies, kumas, all that.
Okay.
And then there is followed by a protein. It could be meat, kuku,
Okay.
fish, beans, lentils. Think
Okay.
about it. Fats, avocado, and then now the carb, like,
Okay.
like
a kaugali too.
kaugali, brown rice, rice, like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds very, but it's different from kiugali na
Yeah.
tumboga tutu wa kusukuma.
That the way we eat the ugali mingi ama the carb mingi was done by, if you, let's say, go 30 years, like early 30s, when we had big families. How are we to feed these big families? So we put the big ugali, and then when ka small ka skuma to stew. That was, it's something that has been,
We're still eating that way.
it's passed down generations, like, and we never really ask, like, why do this?
Okay. No, I love that, maze. That particular story, mi imeniguza hadi na feel nikaribie zaidi tupige hii story.
Sawa.
You know? All good. So, is it in 2020 or earlier that you're like, you know what, let me write a book. Let me write a book that focuses on my journey and what I advise people to do?
Later on, it was in so I started doing like everything that's in the book, like I started researching fasting first, like I had a friend of mine who was crazy on fasting. He would do 72 hours and all this, and he would tell me amazing benefits on it. So I was like, I started fasting, started doing the intermittent fast. Then I was like, I could tell like how I'm feeling, improved mood, I was sleeping better,
Energy.
and all that. Then I really tried like a 24-hour fast. Saw the difference, it was like night and day and all that. And then from my research, like you could tell, like, as in from, how now fasting really helps, like with the repairing of cells, all these things. So now I started the fasting. I learned about the enemas,
Yeah.
I
Okay. I'd like us to highlight the enema. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah,
Very
that's
intrusive.
it's very intrusive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lazima ujiite mkutano.
Uamulie. Okay. So tukiwa hapa fasting, are you still fasting? Is this now a practice that you still keep?
It's on weekly basis. I do it every Mondays.
Okay. Every Monday is a
Every Monday,
24-hour fast.
24-hour fast.
The benefits are immediate.
The benefits are major.
Yeah.
Even when you're having like you're having trouble sleeping, you're having just small like things like you need improvements in your own body like
Yeah.
and stuff. Like fasting will help.
It's immediate. Are you doing water breaks? Are you doing coffee? What are you doing in between? Ama it's dry fast.
No, I take fluids. I take water.
Okay.
I take water, but once a month I'll do like a 3-day where the first 2 days I'll do the water. The third day nothing at all.
Oh, okay.
But then now that's followed now by the cleanses that I have in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll do a gallstone flush.
Yeah. How does that look like?
That is so you have to start with the fast, of course. So after the fast is followed by you have to flush out like your colon. I do so by taking Epsom salt, like a teaspoon of Epsom salt in water. It makes your intestine like moist, so it's like makes it water. So it just makes everything in your gut just comes out. Just flush out
Literally
everything.
a flash.
You just flush out everything.
Yeah.
And then now before you do the Epsom, you do apple juice.
Okay.
So apple juice has malic acid. So malic is good for it kind of like softens the gallstones. And then now the day of now the day you're gonna have the recipe for the liver cleanse is the day now you have the Epsom salt now in the evening.
Okay.
So Epsom, the liver flush, you mix grapefruit, like you squeeze half a cup of grapefruit juice and olive oil. You drink that. It tastes good. It tastes like salad dressing.
Yeah.
I'm a vegan, so yeah.
Yeah.
So it tastes like salad dressing.
It sounds exciting, but I'm sure kuna watu wanaenda za
No. You try it. Tastes amazing.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, because of the Epsom and all that, like the next morning you start going to the bathroom. And like there's more on this like in the book and all that.
In the book, yeah.
And the next morning you start going to the bathroom a lot, and you'll notice at some point, because you've been fasting, like you don't have much food going out. So if you look down, you're gonna see like so many black things, like they look like stones, but they're very. Gallstones are made of cholesterol, so it's not like stones. So it's mamawe, and so ni vitu soft, and so hata zikitoka hausikii ati
It's not a painful
it's not a painful experience. It's just looking down, you're like, it looks like you you swallowed a pumpkin, not pumpkin, pawpaw seeds. Yeah, so just look like that. Yeah.
I like that. Because then the fear around the cleanse is sort of lifted. Because mtu yusikia hivyo ako, it's going to be a painful one. Kwanza ukisikia stones. So thanks for that clarification. But you can get more on this and the different cleanses and the different how-tos on the book. Yeah, I still haven't forgotten about the enema, which is one you also highlight on the book. But we can start there. Tell me about the enema, then we'll come back to the when you decided to now put this in writing. Then we'll go back to you as a big boy back in the day. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's start with that. What's an enema? You go deep in the book.
Yeah.
Literally, but yeah, tell us a bit more about that.
So an enema is putting a solution up your rear end.
Yeah.
And you have it in your stomach for like about 20 minutes, and then you'll have this urge to go to the toilet
To release,
immediately
yeah.
to release, but you just try hold it
Yeah.
for quite some time.
So is this surgical? Is this something you have to go to the hospital for?
No, you can do it on you can
Okay.
do it on your own.
So there are tools to do
Oh yeah,
this.
there are tools you can do it. You know,
Uh-huh.
you need one of those, like even like those drip bags. You know, you can also use this function that has a nozzle in it. So the best one is there's a coffee solution. I have there's a coffee solution for it. And the thing about coffee is not when you drink it, but when you have coffee that goes
Yeah.
up your rear end,
Yeah.
like it when it goes when the fluid travels to your liver, and you know, like blood passes through your liver every 5 minutes. The blood, like all your blood passes through the liver every 5 minutes. So the coffee will act as it's like having a dialysis, like every 5 minutes, like you're cleaning your blood every 5 minutes. So now that coffee helps you like
Cleanse.
clean out your blood
Yeah.
like about 4 times before the coffee flushes out.
Okay.
And if you're on some people who like take a lot of drugs, not pharmaceuticals. This is my Panadols, manini. You'll be surprised. Not everything gets dissolved. Like when you swallow nini, they go and they're stuck somewhere.
Interesting.
So when you start flushing out, you start even noticing like white-looking pills, like just
of that medicine.
Yeah,
Okay.
living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, why is this important? And is this recommended? Is this a have to?
I would say it's a have to. Like if we go back to times of the pharaohs and
This
all
is
that,
ancient Egypt.
ancient Egypt,
Yeah.
they did it every night. You know, even there was a king in France and England that was doing it. Had somebody called the guardian of the anus.
Okay.
That would,
Yeah, I remember that from the book. Yeah.
yeah, that would help with that, like with doing enemas every night after
Yeah.
they've had these massive feasts and all that, and they would do that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, maze, situmes are to the guardians of the galaxy. But hey, all good. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
The gut is fascinating.
It is.
The gut is fascinating,
It is.
and I've come to appreciate this, particularly this year, because like I said, we started off with me going through all these pains. Then I came across your book. Thanks to Betty, really. Let's go back to wellness and the difference between mental and otherwise when you were a big boy versus now. Is there a huge difference in your life experience?
One of the big differences is like big boy was, you know, my body came with issues. You know, I had constant back pain. I was a hairdresser, so I was standing a lot. So that standing, you know, like, and then big, like, caused pressure on my back, and I remember I used to have I even had a back brace. Like, it's the thing I was thinking,
Yeah.
I was like, you know, because you're standing for longer periods, like throughout the day, and so I needed, you know, to ease out of the pain. And then now that I'm this like smaller, observe my weight, I love yoga. I'm always working, you know, I'm always doing like these hits. I run every day. I'm a farmer, man. So
Yeah.
I'm enjoying. I'm really
look at
enjoying
that.
this body.
Yeah.
This body of mine.
Yeah. Does it spill into other facets of life? Unajua, relational, are you more present? How's your mental wellness? Does it spill into these pockets?
Absolutely. I love my reality. Like, I'm so present. Very intentional. I love setting intentions every other moment. And then I was more on autopilot.
Yeah.
I was more notified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, asante sana Maze. Let's shift just a bit, yeah? You spoke of your hairdressing days, and we are now looking at your farming days. When you are a hairdresser then, and tunaona mapicha zako online, unajua, celebrities from across the world, you know, versus you intentionally being a farmer and selling product, you know, yogurt and everything you're doing around that sphere, and the snack bars and all, yeah? At what point do you go, now this is what I'll focus on? Or did you always want to be a farmer?
I thought about farming.
Okay.
I remember like years ago, like somebody asked me like, if I was not a hairdresser, like what else would I be doing? And I said farmer. Like I like the agriculture, I like doing all these things, but never really put any thought to it. Never really followed it up.
It's just a thing you say.
It's just something you say, you know. And yeah, so it's just then I really just enjoyed just doing hair. Like I never saw much like after that.
Yeah.
But then as life has transitioned, I've enjoyed. There's a question I like asking myself or like asking anyone I meet, and it's what are you a beginner at these days?
Where are you a beginner?
What are you a beginner at these days?
I love that question.
You know, and so I'm always finding like whenever I pick on something new, I never go into it like from an expert point. You know, I'm always like, I'm at seed level, I'm at seed planting level. Like the day you plant the seed is not the day you get to enjoy the fruits or all that.
You're a student.
Yeah, so each time it's like I'll pick Bogani for an example. You know, like when we started, like I always looked at myself like I was in kindergarten. When the other guys like the Brooksides and them they were in work experience. Them they had been doing this for years. And even when we launched like the probiotic yogurt, we launched probiotic yogurt in 2022.
Okay.
And I remember that whole year, we were getting bullied in the market because there was no other probiotic yogurt in the market. But
oh, you guys were the first probiotic
we were the
in the
first
market.
probiotic yogurt in the market.
Look at that.
But the shopkeepers were getting bullied by the bigger players.
Yeah, gatekeeping.
Yeah, they were being told like, as in, if we find this yogurt here, we won't sell you our products. You know, like we'll. You know, some of these big players, they have like so many other products. They have fresh milk, they have mala, they have yogurts, they have all these other things. So the shopkeeper had a lot to lose by just selling Bogani.
Yeah.
But then there was some of these guys gave us like this encouragement. They were like diehards. They were like, nah, when you're the only guys, we'll keep Bogani, we'll buy from the other guys. So that was like kind of the encouragement. But then like towards the end of that year, the other yogurt, the company launched,
They're now all doing that.
Launched the probiotic.
Yeah.
Which was helpful for us as well, because they set up billboards, they set up like the message of like what probiotic is about and everything. We didn't have the budget for billboards.
So they did that for you.
They did that for us.
Yeah.
And even when we started, like people were like, hey, probiotic, imagine atumna, you know, just putting these words to promote like this new yogurt. But then
thank you. Keep going.
Thank you. Yeah, but then now they did the marketing for us. So yeah, so that was
look at that.
Good, yeah.
I like that. And I could even underline that for a bit. I know the product. I know what a probiotic yogurt is because I'm now consuming a lot of that.
Yeah,
But for someone who's clueless, not only of the probiotic yogurt, but also who Bogani is, kindly highlight that for us. What is that?
Who Bogani?
Who Bogani is and the product itself.
Yeah, it's my moment. No,
this is the moment. Go for it.
Bogani is a product by Turtle Milk. The reason it's Turtle Milk, you know, the three of us, and Bogani started off as in the kitchen industry. Started off but 2014, 20, 2014 and 2015. It wasn't Bogani. It didn't start as Bogani. It started as then I was doing hair. So I was a hairdresser up to 2013, 20, and then I transitioned from the salon to doing house calls. So I started doing home visits and everything.
So you're freer now.
So I was freer now. So I had a lot of time on my hand, and so I found like most of my clients, I would see them in the morning and in the evening, and throughout the day, I'm chill. So I did what I did then was, just chill out, smoke a lot of weed, and my munchies product was yogurt.
Ah, yeah.
So I was spending a lot on yogurt, and I was like, one time I was like, you know what, I'm spending too much on yogurt. I need to learn how to make this thing so I can make for myself. And
Look at that.
And I can continue doing my job, like
And I have time here.
and
The
I have time
hairdressing
here
can be done.
to make. No, this yogurt was just mine. I wasn't thinking of it as a business. I wasn't
Okay.
thinking of it as I can work on it. So I remember setting out like that intention to learn how to make this, and I had a conversation like my brother, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to learn how to make yogurt, so and just for the house, and it's becoming an expensive thing. And then and so he had it in the back of his mind. So one time, as in he was going to visit like a farmer, a dairy farmer somewhere in Thika, and then thank you. And this dairy farmer was also processing yogurt. So
Okay.
he's like, hey, so you come with me. There's this guy in Thika. This mzee in Thika is processing his own yogurt, and you can at least pick a few things. So we go to his house. We go to his place. We find him in Thika. This guy is actually distributing yogurt, like in the shops and all
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, hey, this is a cool setup. So from the things I'd seen before, like on YouTube, on like yogurt making, like you needed this crazy equipment, all these things. We go to this mzee's house, he shows us his ngombes. Then you go to his kitchen, and he's like, I make my yogurt here. And I'm like, you can do it in the house.
It's doable.
Yeah. I uses normal like 2-burner stove. I'm like, what? Yeah. And then what do you do? So he took me through the process of making the yogurt, and then tried his way, backfired. He skipped a few
Stages in the process.
the processes. So found this guy in. So one of my brother's friends had a cousin working in a company that sell ingredients for making yogurt, and he was like, he gave me the contacts. So I went to that place. They gave me like a printout of like the process, how to make yogurt. From the things I needed, the things I didn't have from the first time. I needed a thermometer to check like the temperature, to when to know when to add these ingredients. I needed the live cultures, all these other things, and I bought a few ingredients.
Okay.
So went home, made the yogurt. It became yogurt. It became okay yogurt, like drinking. But
You are the tester in this case.
yeah, I was a tester in this case.
Yeah.
But then I loved like this really thick yogurt from these are guys in the shop. So I was like, so I went back to those guys and I was like, this is what I made, but I enjoy this. I want to make this.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, so you first make these are the yogurt for some time. Before, and then I was like, no, I'm making it for myself.
Yeah.
I want to make this good yogurt. And then, so they were like, no, you need to buy this, you need to add this. And I was like, so I'm learning about all these like other ingredients, and I was like, and then they explain to you like the times to add, all these things. And that's when I started like, went back, started making really good product, like really good yogurt. Then it wasn't a product, then it was just yogurt for myself.
Yeah, it's like personal obsession.
Personal obsession.
Yeah.
But then I had a friend, so I had a group of friends, most of them were chefs, you know, because when I was a hairdresser, I was working at the salon at Tribe. I had a salon at Tribe,
Okay.
Kaya. So they knew the chefs who would come and, you know, like, you know, they're there just chilling, and, you know, I started giving out yogurt, and they're like, hey, you, see, this yogurt is good. So bring a sample kesho jobo. And, you know, same thing. I took a sample to their work, and then like I remember it was Tamambo in Village Market.
This is a while ago.
Tamambo a while ago.
Yeah.
Before they shut down. And then they were like, hey, from today you'll be a supplier of yogurt.
Hey.
Or even like, as in, how much do you sell the yogurt? I didn't know about the price. I was like, I pretended to be on a phone call. Tucked outside.
Yeah.
Went to Nakumat, saw the price of yogurt, went back, and I was like, I need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how it started.
Oh,
so
bro.
started
Yeah.
pole like that. Yeah.
Oh, look at that, Maze.
Yeah.
And now you have a product that you're pushing. It's now more accepted in the market. What would you say is your biggest lesson as an entrepreneur, especially getting into an industry where there are bigger boys? You know, literally, I like that metaphor of the big boy, yeah? So in this case, unaingia market, kuna more established brands, not particularly in your niche, but at least they are big enough to bully you out of the market.
I approach it as a beginner.
Yeah.
You know, so I always see myself like every year, like we are going from class 1, class 2, class 3, you know, like it's like you couldn't do KCP in class 1. Like you had to go through the whole.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just be good at however little you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like when we started out, we were only available in because the factory is not far. It's in Kiambu area.
Okay.
So banana area. So started out like Rwaka.
The environs, the neighbors.
Environs.
Yeah.
That's where we started off. And you were like, you know what? Like, no one else will be able to sell their yogurt better in Rwaka than Bogani. Like, you go to every shop, this is what you find. And then I started just growing from there, like pole. Like, not like overstretching ourselves. Not like as in someone saying, oh, there's huge market for yogurt in Mombasa, or there's huge yogurt in Nakuru. No, it wasn't that. It was just like, let's just dominate one place and then just keep growing at it.
Be the kings of your region.
Yeah, be the king.
But you're now in different spots now.
Oh yeah, we're in Nakuru. We just got into Nakuru like last month. So we're in Mount Kenya, in Murima, of
Yeah,
course.
Murima, bro.
Murima, of course. Meru, Nanyuki, just around Mount Kenya region.
Yeah.
Kerugoya. We know in Kirinyaga is one of the best performing in the news.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Yeah.
So it's been good.
No. Buy Bogani. Wherever you are, just go search for Bogani. In fact, even if you're watching us from Rwanda, go to your supermarkets and say, if you don't have Bogani, hata sisi hatukuji. I like that. Maze mkitaka nani? A face of your product. I got you, bro.
You did?
I got you.
Say less. Say less.
All good. Fantastic. So thank you so much. We've looked at the gut experience and the lessons from that. We've looked at the journey into being an entrepreneur and the shift from hair into farming. My final question goes to the little boy. Unajua, 7, 8, 9, 10. What are you doing now, or what have you recently done? It could be connected to our conversation or not, that you think the 7, 10-year-old you would be most proud of?
Wow, that's a good question. Just doing me, like just the small dreams, like I can do this, like just and doing it.
And actually doing it.
Yeah,
And actually doing it.
and just
man.
doing it.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. I'm sure that younger version of yours is proud. I'm sure your mom is proud.
Cheers.
Yeah. Maze, shukran for the resilience. Like even in a time when it was an existential moment. Tunajua ile ya, "Oof, is this it? Like these 2 weeks by the time I'm getting the results, like it's been a good run, Maze." So
Oh, yeah.
thank you for keeping the energy even post that, because of you surviving then and making the choices that you have, we now have as good a product as what you have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have something new for the market.
Yes.
What is this?
So we have macadamia oil, and you have this trail mix. That's it's just different mix of macadamia, almonds, just different nuts, different seeds, dried fruits, and all that.
Yeah. Do we have a name for this so that we can look for that as well?
It's called Kubi. At the moment, the snacks on its own brand is not out yet, but we are co-branding for like hotels and
Okay.
and all that. Yeah.
So watch this space.
So watch this space.
Yeah.
And and then the oil is going so many directions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's body oil, cooking oil, all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay. Bless, bro. Maze.
Thanks,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I would look good on a billboard drinking a Bogani yogurt. Unaona hiyo picha? So holla at you, bro. Well done on the products. For you out there who's watching this one or you're listening to us, check out the product. Let us know what you think about it. Look for them on their socials. We'll tell you where to find them, where to find him. Engage, buy. And remember, as he reminded us, what capitalism is selling to us about the food pyramid, it's all a hoax. You'd have to live it to know it. And we have this man to thank for living it and sharing it with us, even through his book and his products. One last mention, tell us about the book, the title of it, and where we can get it.
The book is titled Cleanse to Beat Disease. It's you don't necessarily have to be sick or anything. It's more of a prevention is better, better than cure. It's a book that empowers you to take charge of your own body. Like I like the path you're on right now. So because we hardly know our insides, we know more of our outsides, like we know more of like our fashion sense, the car we drive, all these things, but on our inside, like we leave it up for the doctor,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that know yourself, know your your heart, understand
Yeah.
your stomach and all that. Don't rush for like those medicines I have not taken chemist dawas like in
Oh yeah, in a while.
in a while
Yeah, and we're big here on self-medication, Maze.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've learned that your immune system, like we keep taking these things like to build our immunity, yet when we get sick we rush to the hospital.
Yeah.
When
It's
you're
doing the
building,
reverse.
what are you doing this immunity for?
Yeah.
We don't really trust it. So believe in your immune. Like if you're having these amazing snacks that are nutritious and healthy, like you're building it up to help it fight for you. So just trust that,
Yeah.
And then research, as in there's Google image, take pictures of plants and trees and all that. Like learn which ones have benefits and all
Yeah.
that. And so my book is available on my socials, like on my, and I sell directly
Yeah.
to the customer. It's available on Amazon. Yeah.
Asante sana. Asante sana. We'll definitely cop one. In fact, yangu mazee inapigwa signature bana.
Niko sawa. Of course, sahihi.
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your lessons. Tuendelee.
Asante.
Tuendelee. Luku inaweza kuwa safi, but hiyo tumbo ni safi. Hiyo damu ni safi. Today's episode clearly reminds us to be conscious of internals as well. And I hope you do check what you're eating, check out everything our brother is doing on his socials, and let's enjoy Bogani products, you know? Ladies and gentlemen, mko na sisi. Ladies and gentlemen, our man of the moment, Stakuita George. Nchakuita George. A round of applause for our brother, George. Hakuna beef. Thank you. Should we?
On your next visit to Sugar Bowl, treat yourself to the soul-cleansing Cocoa Zambarao, aka purple tea. This is a healthy indulgence with purple loose leaf tea, African cacao nibs, and African coastal coconut, rich in anthocyanins and antioxidants. And that's it for this episode of the Casually Human podcast with Martin Kigondu. Until next time, stay dope out there, maze. You can recommend us to your friends and follow us on Spotify, on the socials, and definitely on the YouTube. As for me, I'm at Kigondu on all the different social media platforms, at KIGONDUW, and as a podcast, we are at casually_human_pod on Instagram. Find us on X as well, on TikTok. Maze, until next time, peace.